Hi, sweet friends. I am back with a chapter 16 reading from Karen Cushman's The Midwife's Apprentice. Chapter 16 is called The Baby. Here we go. One warm evening came a stillness as if the whole world were holding its breath. Thunderstorm, thought Alice, as she hurried to fasten the wooden shutters over the windows before the skies opened. Just then a party of riders rode into the inn yard, a prosperous-looking man wearing too much jewelry, a stout lady in some obvious discomfort, and their attendants, a man and woman sullen and none too bright-looking. The man lifted the stout lady down, and they hurried into the inn, leaving the boy Tam to put the horses away and see them dry and fed for the night. Because they appeared important, Jeanette herself bustled over to see to their needs. "Supper, sir? Cold beef and the best bread in the county? A jug of ale or some Rhenish wine?" "We want no food," said the prosperous-looking man. "How then can I serve you?" "In no way, madam, unless you be a priest, a magician, or a man of medicine. My wife is being devoured by a stomach worm." The woman moaned a little and then let out a great cry that nearly drowned out the thunder crashing about them. Jeanette crossed herself as the man swept platters and mugs off the big table and helped his wife lie down. Snatching a mug of ale from John Dark, Jeanette brought it to the wailing woman. She watched a moment and then laid her rosy hand on the woman's swollen belly. "In truth, sir, I think she's about to give you a child." The man looked at Jeanette with displeasure and dislike. "Get away with you, fool. My wife has been barren since the day of our marriage and breeds nothing but discontent. She has, in truth, grown stout of late, but that be herring pie and almond puddings. Having a child? Impossible." Jeanette watched a few moments more. "Not only possible, sir, but soon." The entire company looked then at the woman on the table, who was struggling to sit up and was pushing so hard her red face looked near to bursting. "Impossible," said the man again, a little less confidently this time. "What should be done?" The woman let out a bellow like a bull, and John Dark hurried outside, preferring the rain to this. "There is a midwife in the village, some walk down the road. I will point your man the way," said Jeanette. So for a time the inn resounded with the rumble of the thunder, the cries of the laboring mother, and the useless clucking of the woman's husband. Finally the manservant reappeared, as wet as water could make him. "I found the midwife's cottage where you told me," he said. "The midwife was not there, and no fire is lit, and it looks like some other child is making his way into the world tonight with the midwife to assist him. This one must make his own way." All was noise and confusion as the woman pulled herself up again and commenced bellowing. Her husband gave her his ruby ring to hold. Jeanette gave her ale. The manservant gave her a black look and went outside to join John Dark in the rain. As night deepened, the woman's cries grew louder and louder. Jeanette hustled and bustled, but she knew about brewing and baking, not babies. And all her bustle could not help. Magister Reese went out and returned, unable to help, but reluctant to leave. Alice stood watching from a place under the stairs, unwilling to be part of the scene, for the sounds and smells were all too familiar and spoke of her failure with Emma Blunt. But you see, out of everyone there, who do you think is probably most suited to help? Alice. She was kept from leaving altogether by her sympathy and compassion, and by a certain curiosity that compelled her to know what was happening, and to what end and what might be done to finish or hasten or ease. As the wails of the companions grew near, as loud as those of the mother, Jeanette threw them all outside. The woman attendant, who shrieked more than she attended, the wailing husband, and the Magister Reese, who then stood at the shuttered window, frantically paging through the great work, looking for something to help, and every now and then calling, "Jeanette, you must find the bulb of a white lily, or virgin's hair and ant eggs, or an eagle stone. Who has an eagle stone?" Finally, Jeanette covered the moaning woman with her cloak, and whispering, "I can do no more. This baby will not come," she slipped from the room. Lightning lit up the room, empty but for Alice under the stairs, and the woman in tears and pain and labor, and none to help. It sounds terrifying. Alice trembled. "I should," she said to herself, "but I cannot. I tried before, and I failed." "You must," she said to herself, back to her. "None so stupid," said Magister Reese. "You are nitwit," said Gromit Smith. "Guts and common sense," said Will Russet. "You gave up," said the midwife. So these are all the voices she has in her head, telling her what she's just assuming that other people she knows would say to her. Remember, it's kind of that negative self-talk, just because, based on what Will Russ had told her before, you can't know everything. Not everybody always knows everything. So even though she wasn't able to fully deliver that baby on her own last time, doesn't mean that she's never going to be able to, or that she could never be a help. So, help me, cried the woman on the table. Keep still, all of you, and let me try, said Alice, coming out from behind the ladder. She got the woman to her feet and walked her around the room, stopping every now and then to pour some ale into her. She rubbed and oiled and pushed. She bade the woman sit and stand, kneel and lie down. She called on all those saints known to watch over mothers, St. Margaret and St. Giles and St. Felicitas, and even St. Loy, who protects horses, and St. Anthony, who does the same for pigs, but she believed it would do no harm. She did every single thing she had seen the midwife do, and even invented some of her own. As the thunderstorm passed and the night prepared to yield to dawn, on a scarred wooden table that had seen more of pork pies and beer than babies, Alice delivered a baby boy with the black hair of his father and the red face of his mother. Alice had no basket of clean linen and ointments and herbs, so she tore a coarse thread from the hem of the woman's dress, tied the baby's cord, and cut it with a carving knife borrowed from the kitchen. Having no cumin or sesame for sealing the cord, she spat on her hand and rubbed the cut end. Alice then opened the door. "Here, sir," Alice said, handing the baby to his father. No stomach worm, but a loud and lusty boy. His mother shouted from inside, "Stomach worm! Bah! In truth, I thought a dragon was eating my innards. Give the lout to me. I will teach him to give such trouble and pain to his mother." The stupefied father took the baby to his mother, who commenced, stupefied, that's such a great word. Stupefied means like, you're in shock. The stupefied father took the baby to his mother, who commenced scolding and berating the little fellow, all the while soothing his black hair and caressing his little hands, until her scolding turned to cooing and his loud cries to gurgles, and mother and child fell asleep there on the end table. Alice saw the man and his servants staring at her in awe. "It be a miracle," they whispered. "We have seen barren women give birth, stomach worm transformed to innocent babe, dragon defeated by a girl who appeared from nowhere." The man spoke to Alice. "Good miss, be you an angel or a saint?" "No," Alice stared at him. "An angel? I be no angel." "Then it is a saint you are," he cried, and all about fell to their knees in wonder. "No," Alice repeated, "no saint, no angel. Corpus bones, I but delivered a child. Your wife never had a stomach worm." But the man and the servants, still on their knees before her, prayed and thanked her for the cure of their mistress and the miracle of the baby. And while she was at it, the female servant asked for a warm cloak for winter, and that the wart should fall off her chin.